Joining us. So clearly this was a powerful statement from the players. What do you think is going to be the outcome of it?
Well, I'm not really sure. I mean, you mentioned a powerful statement, and yes, by sitting out several games, it's certainly symbolic. I think that a longer work stoppage, if you will, now sets itself up to be more of a demand. Some people might characterize it as a strike, but it's a demand of the league, of ownership, to exercise their influence in helping these young men and young women, when we go across WNBA, MLB, and MLS, to exert some pressure to affect change. I mean, we know sports is a prominent thread in our social fabric. It's also has huge economic impact. And so those two forces combine, and as the pressure filters to owners, to networks, to advertisers, et cetera, maybe folks would want to protect their investment and maybe join in the statement and the demand for equal justice and to change.
So far, we've heard a lot of voices of support from the owners here on this network, from the league. What do you make of that? And how long do you think can that last? And do they need to do more?
Well, I think the statement of support by the league is genuine. I think because of the abbreviated action that's been taken. Now, if that action continues, if they sustain it, then obviously the interests of management and labor, who are the players, become divergent, and you'll see a different type of relationship where owners don't want to pay players who aren't playing. But nevertheless, that pressure, that economic pressure, will be felt by everybody involved, and maybe there can be a meeting of the minds to find a way to make a demand of government and other policymakers to affect some tangible change.
Len, does this change in the long term the fundamental relationship in sport between labor and owners, labor and management? Because I can't remember the last time we saw a work stoppage like this that wasn't about player salaries or money in that sense. And I wonder if that is more likely, you think, to follow through into the future.
Well, John, I think it could. As I said, though, if it's sustained longer, the players, I think, would have increased their leverage in the long term, even though in the short term they would sacrifice. You've got to recognize, obviously, unprecedented leverage that players have in just about every league, particularly NFL and the NBA, if they choose to use it. And the bottom line is that's because of the unintended consequence of popularity in the league, that owners have to, pay the players in order to, keep that entertainment value. But in the end, I think players, if they could understand the idea that true activists have to sacrifice, and they were able to sustain, some type of work stoppage longer and make a demand of ownership, et cetera, I think both aspects will be accomplished, that, better relations and even, again, affecting more change.
Len, finally, is there a lesson for brands here? At least months ago, when Nike stuck by Colin Kaepernick and Under Armour took a more conservative tack, it seemed like Under Armour was the one who was playing it safe. But now Nike's way up, Under Armour's down, and the league and the owners seem to have swung in Nike's direction. What's your take?
I think you have to be led by your values. And I think Nike, having been kind of a revolutionary corporation since its inception, pretty much lived by those particular values. And, Under Armour, if they vacillated from side to side trying to pick a winner, they ultimately wound up losing. So stick with your values, be a value-based company, and you should succeed.
I think it's pretty extraordinary to see the dynamic play out here. Len Elmore, thank you for joining us.